We live in a digital age. Musical downloads, streaming services, YouTube. Why vinyl?
There's actually a couple of reasons, I guess. Vinyl's been around obviously a lot longer, but a lot of the people that come to the store here have memories of going into a Sam the Record Man or whatever store was local to them and buying that first piece of vinyl and taking it home, and there was liner notes and there was the lyrics on the sheet, so on and so forth. The biggest thing I think what you get from a piece of vinyl is the sound that you cannot duplicate with a digital download. Pretty well once you put it on your turntable, and again, it's all different. I mean, not everyone has $10,000 speakers and so on and so forth, but the fact is, if you have a decent system, vinyl just has that warmth, that feel to it, the way music was supposed to be recorded. Whereas now, the digital downloads to me just sound very tinny, and you can't duplicate that sound. If you can live with a few pops and scratches on some albums, I mean, you're gonna love vinyl.
I'm a complete noob. How would I get into records? What would I need at the minimum?
Minimum is basically a system that a decent turntable, a receiver, a decent set of speakers, and you don't need these speakers here from the 70s, from the old man cave, so on and so forth. Shelf speakers are fine. I guess the most important thing is what you do need is a decent cartridge, so your albums, are played the way they're supposed to be played. There's a lot of turntables out there now that you can buy for less than $100, but unfortunately those are not built for records. They can't duplicate the sound of a decent system. And then you've got a lot of skips and it basically digs into the grooves of the vinyl, and unfortunately you're not getting the full effect. So basically, there's a lot of record stores out there now that do sell equipment. I suggest buying a refurbished a record player. There's people out there that do a great job of refurbishing these things, and you can start with that. And again, you can get a decent turntable now for about $200-300. That'll do you for a long time.
What can shoppers expect to find at Janus Records?
Well, I'd say for every CD or every tape that I sell, I probably sell about 150 albums. So we've got close to, with what I have at home and what I have in my storeroom, I'd say we have close to 15 or 16,000 records now. When we first started, I think we started out with roughly 1,000 records. And in the last probably we've been here over 24 months now. We've built that up quite a bit. So what you're going to find is a lot of vinyl, a lot of 70s, a lot of 80s. We do have a smaller section now of the newer artists, and I have to say Taylor Swift does pay my rent, so I'm glad that I did get her records, and I can thank my daughter for that. So she got me to get Taylor Swift in here. But I think what you're going to find is a pretty laid-back atmosphere. I think we have a lot of fun down here. When I'm not tired from my real job, I always have a smile on my face. I love to talk music. I probably talk too much, but I just love talking music, and I love the friends that I've made, and I think everybody that comes down those steps, I think they're going to have a good time here, whether they buy something or not.
What are some of your best sellers?
Okay, number one, by like a huge margin, Taylor Swift, anything Taylor Swift. I don't know how many orders I've put in for Taylor Swift over the past year and a half, probably close to 10 or 15 reorders, and I'm almost sold out of her again. Probably the second best seller that I have is Fleetwood Mac Rumors. I sell a lot of AC/DC. I sell a lot of Southern rock in here, and you're probably wondering what the hell is Southern rock? And a good friend of mine and my very first customer, Bern, knows exactly what I'm talking about with Southern rock. There's bands that I push in here, not so much push, but I play a lot, and I turn a lot of people on to the genre that really in Canada is non-existent. But I've always said that this store should be in Jacksonville, Florida, because I sell so much Southern rock. That being said, like Leonard Skinner, Outlaws, Whiskey Myers is one of my favorite bands now. A brand new band that's come out in the last 10 or 15 years. They're probably like top 5 for me. I sell a lot of them. Drive-by truckers. So basically, I guess it'd be Taylor Swift, Fleetwood Mac is a close second, and then Southern rock would be third.
What got you into records?
Well, what got me into records was when I think I bought my first album when I was probably 11 or 12 years old. I'll never forget, I bought it at Sears. It was Aerosmith Live Bootleg. And I saved up my money, and I think it was $7.99. It was a double album. And I took it home, and I remember opening it up, and it was amazing. You saw all the photos of the band in concert, then you took out the sleeves, and there's the lyrics, and who produced the album, and so on and so forth. It's just the whole experience. From there, I think like everybody else, I think when CDs came out, I started to convert, but I kept all my vinyl. Thank God I did. And it was probably prior to COVID, actually, when my daughter walked home one day and she had a Supertramp album, Live in Paris. And I looked at it, I said, why would you buy that? She goes, oh, I just thought it was really cool, and you know what, I love vinyl. And I swear, the next day, me and her were at a couple of the local shops, and it just got me right back into it. And I've built up my collection back up probably over to 2,000-3,000 now of my own personal collection. And I'm never gonna stop, because it's just, like I said earlier, you can't duplicate the sound. You can't duplicate the fact that you're holding something in your hand as opposed to a download that is just whatever. It's special to me, just because that's what I grew up with. I never really got into tapes. I got into CDs heavy, and I still have all my CDs, but I'll never lose that love for vinyl.
How did you end up in the basement of a comic book shop?
So it's kind of a twofold. So what happened was a very good friend of mine for over 35 years has run this comic shop, the Hooded Goblin, here in Georgetown for the last 10 years. And this was their second location in town. We used to work together in our real jobs and so on and so forth, and we've been friends for a very long time, really good friends. And we both kind of got back into vinyl around the same time. And I was visiting here, and I always come in and have a coffee with him, and we'd chat pretty well every day during the summer. And we'd come downstairs and we go, oh, wouldn't it be cool to open up a record shop in town? And he goes, yeah, it would, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I said, no, Steve, seriously, what do you think about opening up a record shop? And he goes, well, we got the basement. And I said, well, you know what, it wouldn't take too much. Let's see if we can do it. And so, you know, little by little, we started collecting some albums so we'd have something when we opened, and we got some tables, and, you know, we tried to do it on a shoestring budget because we didn't know if it was going to fly or not in a town this small. I mean, we're not Toronto, we're not Oakville, so there's not a lot of foot traffic. So we put a little bit of money into it, and over the past 2 years, it's grown. And unfortunately, Steve passed away in April.
My condolences.
And I've been running it alone ever since, so I just wanted him to be a part of this. What I'd like to do is thank the guys that I've invited here today have been with me basically since day one, and I wanted to make sure they got in the video because I think they deserve that, and they've been fantastic. But
on the release ones, they're going to be.
Yeah, I seriously, you know what? I just wanted them to know how much fun it's been getting to know these guys, right? Like, you know, I don't see them every week, but there's a couple of them that come in at least once, twice a week, and it's not necessarily to buy anything. It's just, sometimes we just have a chat. And you know, you've had a hard day at real work or whatever, and you come in here, this is kind of like my little happy place, right? I just love being in here. I love, you know, just pricing records, cleaning records, whatever. There is one person that, you know, there was Steve, but I just want to really thank Bern, because, you know, repairing records, cleaning records. We got a collection in here one day of 3,000 albums, and he was here for 2 days helping me price and clean and sort and stuff like that. You know, Dan was probably my second customer, right? Since, you know, we're talking over, what, 26 months that we've been here. These guys have been here pretty well every week, you know, and again, not always to buy something, but just come in and have a chat, and I really do appreciate it. Kyle, Carrie, Chris, Larry, I mean, all these guys that are here today are just fantastic. Don, who's getting me Southern rock albums from, you know, Alabama and stuff like that. I mean, there's not enough words for me to say thank you. And that's what makes a little record shop like this so cool. Hello YouTube, it's John Ribic here from J&S Records in Georgetown, Ontario. We're located at 30 Main Street South, downtown Georgetown. We're in the basement, or we like to call it the dungeon, of the Hooded Goblin comic shop. We're open Tuesday through to Sunday. Tuesday to Friday we're open 12 to 7. And then on the weekends we're open from 11 to 6 on Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sunday. Hope to see you.